I thought that I'll be building this app in front of you so that you can see that I really make a lot of mess around. So expect a lot of mistakes from me in this entire section because I'll not be prepared in this section. I'll try to just solve the problems momentarily, and definitely lots of editing are going to be there in the video section. So be prepared for that, and we are going to make a mess. And this is the attitude you should have. Yes, definitely, I'm going to make a mistake, but I will solve that. And that's the attitude that will pay off at the end. So if I run this app, I have made a little bit of change, and you can see that straightforward that I have zoomed it a little bit. You can go onto the Windows, Scale, and 75%. The reason why I have done that, because if I zoom to 50%, you can see the details are missing now. The details like the table view, and if I check that, you can see still it's missing out the details. Although I have those edit options and all of that, but I would like to go with the scale of 75% at least, because I want to see this all the views and everything out there. Of course, I could have moved on to the bigger scale screen, but that would not be paying you off because I cannot record on that. And it's against the rule actually, so I will stop that. And first thing that I will be doing is having a little bit fun. So I'll have my detail descriptor label, and I would like to change its color to a little bit lemon. I really like that. And for that, I would like to have a velvetish look. So I'll change the background to a bit maroon so that it looks good. So just play around with this section, the inspector element, and you will really have fun with that. I'm pretty sure on that. So let's just save that. Command S is my one of the best habit that I have. And I'll run this app, and you will see that there is a velvetish look. Now again, I will refer you to the section where you can read about the colors and what format and what themes look good. Although I could have really black on the velvet, but it doesn't shine. And if I go on to that, notice that it shines. Now I could have done one more thing here. And in fact, in the system font, I could have chosen a bit bold one, this one. And again, it's all about playing out here. So let's just play it around, because I'm about to mess with the code as well. So definitely I would like to have a good positive start and have a couple of them go out there. And notice it looks good. A really velvetish and rich look is out there. And you could have changed this to red as well. It looks really good out there, but again, depends on you what you like. Okay, now what I'll do, I'll get rid of this guy. Move on to there, and let's move on to the master view controller and try to make a mess. I'm really excited for that, for not making the mess actually, for declaring my variables. That would be my job number one. So I'll tell you exactly before what I'll be doing, that what is my aim to do. So first of all, my aim is actually, because I'll be declaring a couple of variables that should be accessible to master view controllers, some of the functions that I'll be defining out here. And even outside the class in the detail view controller, I'll be using those variables. So my first goal is to make sure that I define the variable which should not be in the class, but that should be outside the class. Now errors, don't worry about them. Now first thing that you should note, that this objects should remain exactly, and this detail view controller should remain exactly and should spell exactly, because they have been used quite a lot, and by seeing the number of errors, you can see that a lot of reference are being made. Now, one way you could have gone ahead and could have changed all of that, but doesn't really it makes a sense. So always keep your variables. These two variables should be there, and these should be exactly like that. So outside the class, I would like to define a couple of variables. So first of all, let's have the objects that is already being built up, and this is going to be this time a simple array of the string. So I'll type in for it as string. Come on, suggest me. And Xcode is really not very friendly with me right now. So I could have initialized it with using the string. Oops, I'm typing it correct, string. And in order to initialize it, I need these pair of parentheses out there. Okay, object part is done. It would have got rid of many errors. And the next thing that you need is detail view controller, because that is also being out there. So let's have a detail view controller, and there we go. Make sure that it spells exactly like that, and that should be type of detail view controller. Okay, good so far, but there is a problem out there, because it's a detail view controller and that value can be an optional value. It might also be nil. So therefore you can have a question mark out here. And after that, of course, we are having a detail view controller. That means we need a master view controller as well. So I'll have a master view controller and it should be of type of master view controller class. So obviously, and master not suggesting me anything. And I'm expecting it to suggest. It's not. Okay, I'm done typing. And master view controller is done. We need a couple of more fields. We need to track where we are actually, because a user could have tapped directly onto the third row and could have visited the notes what he want at the third row. So we need to keep a track for the selected field. So I would like to have a selected field. That's look good. And it should be type inferred as in simple integer type. And I would also give it a value of 0. No harm in starting from index 0. Again, you could have start from anywhere, depends on what you want to do. And I would like to keep a comment and it will say track index. Okay, a nice comment for you. And after that, I would like to have a default note for the blank screen note. For that, I would like to have a variable. I'll call this as a simple default note would work. Default, make sure that you write default note out there. Default is a keyword and it should be of a string type and the value can be anything. In this case, I would go with the blank, not the black, the blank, and a couple of dots, not the backslash. Come on, what I'm typing. Okay, this is for the blank screen note and a key for saving data, because that would be useful later on. Key for saving data. Good. And I need to create a variable. And what should I call it? I call it a save note. Okay, good name. And that should be of a string and it should have a default value and I'll call that as simply notes. Okay, not the caps O, notes. Okay, I'm done with the variable with a lot of commentings, of course. But if I hit Command B, I'm expecting a lot of broken things. And that's what I always expect whenever I build my application. So nothing to worry, we can solve it. And if we are not able to solve that, we can look for the Stack Overflow. So it says value of type master view controller has no member detail view controller. Okay, we need to stick to the basics. So what it's saying that it has no detail view controller because it says self.view controller and we have moved it outside the scope of this class. In fact, not outside the scope, outside the class. So we don't need this self and I think this should fix up. Save that and hey, go, please go. And it's not going. Let me just save that and okay. There is one more that says cannot convert the value NSDate. Obviously, it cannot convert to NSDate because we have moved NSDate to string type. And that should work. Okay, this works. And we can see that it looks good. Detail view controller. And everything is good so far. And if I save that and hit Command B, it got rid of that error, but still this is the one we are having here. And string, of course, it should be string. Just like that, save that, Command B. It got rid of warnings. Although we are programmers, we are not worried about the warnings. We are only worried about the errors. But still, these are easy to get rid of because I see the NSDate. And the moment I see NSDate, I can see that it cannot cast it to NSDate. So I just can delete. I could have reference to another thing as well. And I think the same problem is here. And yes, I was correct. Oh, okay. Save that, build that again. Oops, one more mistake. That says object.description. Now remember the movie where I told you about the for in loop for looping around the string. It says we don't allow to looping through characters in a string. You just need to add dot description there, but we do not need a description to loop through it or maybe for some castings or assignments. So simply get rid of this description. How did I know that? It says static member description cannot be used on instant type string. So, okay, you say so. I'll do that. And finally, command B, hope it runs. Okay, it's a good time to run our app, although fingers are crossed. Okay, it did run. I can enter nothing out here, but still you can see nice animation. Now I haven't asked it or assigned any variable, but still I got my pretty looking out there, and you can see, oh, it's really make a mess. Okay, good so far. So our task number 1 is done, and I think we are quite a lot into the movie. So now let's move ahead on to the next movie.